Hello, Panthers. Welcome to Sips and Skills, a bi-weekly coffee talk where we talk about soft skill development in the workplace. My name is Abby Straczynski. I manage all of the student and young alumni programming for the UWM Alumni Association. Every other week, I am joined by a fantastic Panther alum to talk a little bit about soft skill development and the role that soft skills have played in their lives personally and professionally. Today, I am joined by Patricia Contreras, a 2000 graduate of the Lubar School of Business with a degree in finance. Patricia is the Vice President for Public Affairs at Rockwell Automation and leads the Government Affairs, External Communications, and Community Relations and Contribution functions. Today, Patricia and I will be discussing the importance that empathy has played in her life personally and professionally. So let's get started. Welcome, Patricia.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. So obviously, this being our alumni coffee talk, I always like to start the conversation with, what are you sipping on this morning?
Most people find it really strange, but I wake up every morning and have water. I've never tasted coffee, and making it through college and some pretty, interesting careers and having children, I've been able to do it just on water. So today I'm sipping on some water.
Awesome. I am actually in the same boat, not a huge coffee drinker, but water is always a good option. So let's dive right in. I'm so excited to talk about the role that empathy has played in your life. So just tell the Panther family a little bit about your experience since graduating from UWM and the role that empathy has played in your life personally and professionally.
Yeah, that's a great lead in. So born and raised in Milwaukee, I have been really fortunate that after UWM, I've spent 20 great years in corporate philanthropy for some really great local employers, including the last 12 years at Rockwell Automation. And in philanthropy, in order to be a really good grant maker, empathy is really key to that. It's really around active listening, asking the right questions, because oftentimes the solutions you're seeking are going to come right from the people that you're trying to serve. And so in working with students, instead of coming in and say, you should try this and you should do this, really listening to students and hearing from their perspective, because they usually have the best ideas, the most innovative ideas. It really ultimately comes down to understanding someone else's perspective and putting yourself in that situation and understanding all of the dynamics, not just your own biases, not just the narrative that you hear that often will shape your perception, but really that putting yourself in their shoes and understanding what they're dealing with. It ultimately shows respect. Mm-hmm. It builds trust. And for me, those are the foundation blocks in establishing good relationships. And if I've learned anything over the last 20 years, relationships are key. It's how I can do my job effectively and efficiently. It's really on who you know, and oftentimes, leaning on those networks that you've been able to establish both inside the workplace and outside the workplace. So I think, that's really the key to being successful, is really the power behind relationships. And that can't be truer now in my new expanded role. If you look at all of the cross sections of what I'm responsible for now, relationships are key.
Yeah. That's great. And how does one hone the muscle of empathy? How did you build that as a skill set and as a foundation for relationship building? And what tangible steps can young people take to build that skill into their personal and professional lives also?
If I'm honest, I almost didn't have a choice. The resiliency that I needed to progress as a child and as a student at UWM, being a woman of color in corporate America, you're often the only. Mm-hmm. You're the only person in the room. And so that resiliency and empathy is just part of how you code switch and how you navigate spaces. And I would say, I'm finally feeling that place where a woman of color is now respected and you're really brought into conversations. Not just to check a box, but really to enrich the conversation that's being had. We really talk about it at Rockwell that diverse teams make great business decisions, and we're really seeing that unlocking innovation, having a diverse team is a piece of that puzzle. I would say for me, it's just being genuine and authentic. That's what I want from people. And so if I can show up being really genuine and authentic, being vulnerable, people will start to be real with each other. And it's really just taking a reflection back that, if someone's sharing something with you that you've never experienced, understanding and just saying, wow, I've never had that happen to me before, but I recognize that that's very real for you.
Absolutely. Wonderful. And you alluded to this a little bit, I think, when you talk about being the only person in a room, sometimes who looks like you, but looking back at your time here at UWM, what role did empathy play here? Was that the case here, or did you have a different experience, and what role did empathy play during your college experience?
So I actually started my college career on another campus in Milwaukee that will go unnamed, but there I really felt lonely. And I think ultimately I was searching for belonging. And I found that at UWM. When I walked on campus, I saw myself and I saw the world, and I saw the beauty and power behind diversity. And I think if you look at culturally, what we're all searching for too is that inclusion. And so I definitely experienced that, but I also got really involved. So I helped start the first Latina sorority on campus, Kappa Delta Chi, and really helped build a closer niche of women who had shared experiences that I could lean on. So part of it is really interviewing the spaces and places, whether it's a school campus or whether it's a company, to see if the culture fit is there for you. And if it's not, then standing up and taking a leadership role to help shape it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. The last question I always like to ask, if anyone watching this would like to learn more about the work that you do, the work that Rockwell is doing in their public affairs and global affairs department, is there a way that students can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn, Patricia Contreras. Have my picture up there, so it should be easy to find me, and I would love to connect with anyone and answer any questions they have.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about empathy. It's a skill that's near and dear to my heart, and so important, I think, in the world in general, but especially right now. So thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for joining us today. Join us in 2 weeks where we'll have another Sips and Skills alumni conversation. These conversations can be found on our social media platforms, so LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. They're also archived on our website at alumni.uwm.edu/Sips and Skills. Like or comment on one of the videos on social media for a chance to win a gift card to Stone Creek Coffee. So have a great day, and go Panthers.
Go Panthers indeed.